Jay, after going into the season, there's a lot of speculation on for your future here, for your job security and all that. After 3 games, you now feel you're like in a week-to-week proposition just for the job?
No, I haven't felt like that, but who knows? I'm just trying to concentrate on the Giants right now, put our best foot, learn from our mistakes here, and try to get better. That's all we're trying to do here as a staff, and go from there.
That's Jay Gruden talking to reporters yesterday on a conference call. I thought that he said something that got bleeped. That's the sound that's made when someone joins the call. So it didn't get cantankerous. There was no
the same thing there for a second. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there was no profanity from Jay Gruden, although privately he's probably letting some F-bombs fly just like his brother would. All right, we're drafting folks on the hot seat. It can be anyone. Coordinators, it can be coaches, it can be players, it can be anyone. Chris asked me the trivia question to determine who gets the first selection.
Okay, here we go. Shaq Barrett, Mike, has 8 sacks this year, which ties the record for the most through 3 games in NFL history. Who does Barrett share the record with? I'll give you a hint. He's retired.
Jared Allen.
He's retired now.
Jared Allen.
Fine, you're wrong. Good. Fine, you're wrong. I mean, you didn't want to hear the hint. He retired,
He's retired now,
and he played in New York. You want to take a guess at who it might be?
Michael Strahan.
Go again.
Joe Klecko.
Oh, getting closer.
Mark Gastineau.
Yeah.
Mark Gastineau.
Who? Yes.
So I won?
No, you did not.
Did I win?
Nope, the hell with you. You didn't win anything.
Wait, you don't get 4 strikes?
Nope, you don't get 4 strikes, okay?
All
All right, so where do I want to start here? This is like one of those where I'm like, gosh, I don't know if I really want to pick first today. I think I got to go with just the one that I look at more than anything as far as being on the hot seat right now and having pressure going into a Week 4 matchup. I'm going to start with the guy we were just talking about. I kind of want to put them together, like Freddie Kitchens, Baker Mayfield. Kind of Kitchens and Baker Mayfield.
No. It's not pressure. It's people who are in danger of losing their jobs. I mean, if you want to go with them, go ahead.
All right, fine.
If you want to concede, go ahead.
No, I won't do that then. I won't. Okay, if that's where we're going from that in general, because I don't think that's necessarily exactly what we were talking about. We're talking about
it's hot seat.
Okay,
not pressure cooker.
Pressure. It's the same damn thing.
You're on the hot seat.
Okay, fine. Then we'll start with this. Case Keenum is on the hot seat. It has begun. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're 0-3, and even though he hasn't played that bad, okay, and it was bad. I understand the first half of that game last week, but the first 2 games he did a lot of good things. The hot seat talk has started because they're 0-3 and Dewayne Haskins was picked at number, 16, 15? Either way, we know he's the franchise going forward. This was a game that was on national TV, and it was 5 turnovers by Case Keenum, and some of them were bad. And then, of course, we know the camera goes on Dewayne Haskins. So, yes, Case Keenum is on the hot seat because of the quality or not quality of those turnovers, which were, if you're watching on TV right now, the 3 interceptions were bad. The fumble over the 4th and 1 reach over was bad. And the fact that you just have Dewayne Haskins behind you, that puts you on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious one, especially with this conversation about whether or not Case Keenum will be benched. And I'm going to go in that same – I want to be a little more creative, but I want to go obvious. There's one coach who's on the hot seat, the clearest hot seat right now, and it's Jay Gruden. And reading between the lines of the things that were being said by Booger McFarland during the Monday night broadcast after he had been in the facility for multiple days getting ready for the game between Washington and Chicago, I got the impression that Jay Gruden is determined not to bench Case Keenum, and that it's not going to be something where Haskins plays until Gruden is fired. And I got the distinct sense, listening to Booger McFarland, that Gruden's on the way out. It's just a question of when. And unless they turn it around, and I don't think they're going to, it's going to be Jay Gruden out the door either after the Thursday night game in Minnesota, which gives the replacement a week and a half to get ready, or their bye that comes up a couple of weeks after that. But again, dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things. Maybe they would fire him after a Sunday heading into another Sunday. Either way, I feel like he's on the clear hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. You're right. I mean, it does seem that he's on a clear hot seat.
You can't bring yourself to do it because you know him.
Well, I do.
Bottom line.
But that's I know a lot of people, and I say a lot of negative things about them all the time.
You can't bring yourself to do it.
One, like him, and two, I don't want to bring myself to do it because I don't think he's the main culprit or issue there. I think he's like issue number 74 with the things they got with the Redskins. I mean, it's not him, so that's why. It's a double whammy. If I really thought he stunk and he was the issue, no matter how much I like him, I think I've earned the right now that you've known me long enough that I would say, you know what, I like the guy, but damn, yeah, he's in trouble. I think I've shown you I'm willing to do that.
But who gets fired in these, sir? I know, I just can't give you a hard time. Who gets fired in situations like these?
No, you're right. The head coach.
Even if the coach is number 74, he's still the one who goes.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Especially when the team is dysfunctional and is willing to throw out the guy who is one of the reasons why they're not even worse than they are. That's what dysfunctional teams do.
That's very true, too. You're right. They do stupid crap like that. Okay, it's not a bad pick. I mean, it's kind of like, gosh, you picked the same team I picked. That's not cool. Like, find your own.
Okay, you picked the wrong guy. Okay. You picked the wrong guy.
No, we're not talking about Jay Gruden being fired this week, but we did open today's show about we should bench Case Keenum, so I picked the right guy.
But he ain't gonna.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna.
So here we go.
He ain't gonna.
My next one, and I don't know where the hell I want to go here with this.
Obviously.
I think I'm going to go with
I always know when you're buying time.
Well, because I have guys
who
are under pressure as many as I do who's on the hot seat, and I don't necessarily love the hot seat conversation. But I'm going to put somebody on the hot seat right here. Andy Dalton with the Cincinnati Bengals, all right? It might not be like hot seat, he's going to get benched right now this week. He's on the hot seat from never being the starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, though, when the season's over. I got to say that much. I mean, they're 0-3, and I know he threw for a bunch of yards in Seattle, but my big thing with Andy Dalton is he will not win you games, but he will lose them for you. And that's an issue for me when you're a starting quarterback in football, because at some point a starting quarterback needs to win a few games for a team. And more times or not, even in the great day like Seattle, they're moving down the field and he throws to throw a ball and the ball flies in the air with nobody around him and gets intercepted. It's just stuff like that, boneheaded interceptions, to where I go, it might not be hot seat, he's getting benched right now, but his seat is getting hot for he will no longer be the starting quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals when this season's over if the trend continues.
Yeah, this is the clear up or out year for Andy Dalton in Cincinnati, and I agree with you. They're 0-3. They've had a couple of games they could have won, should have won, but they didn't. Yeah. So it falls on him, especially when the new coach is trying to assess whether or not that's the quarterback he wants over the long term.
They got Ryan Finley there, too, who looked good in the preseason. Maybe they do pull the trigger and do that at some point during the year.
I'm going to put Tom Coughlin on the hot seat.
Okay.
Because, number one, the Jaguars have woefully underachieved since getting to the AFC Championship game in 2017. They had a stretch of 3-13 from week 3 of 2018 to week 3 of 2019. They got the win last Thursday night. That's fine. But this fight that he's in with Jalen Ramsey, I think how that gets resolved is going to be as influential on Coughlin's long-term status as the question of whether or not the team is good enough. And if at some point, look, if this ends up dying down for now and Jalen Ramsey stays in Jacksonville, and at the end of the year, Shad Khan, the owner of the team, realizes that this is something that cannot be reconciled between Coughlin and Ramsey, and you got to choose between the two guys, I'm sorry, but I'm choosing Ramsey, and I think that Shad Khan will do the same thing.
Yeah, it's not a good look for Tom Coughlin right now. Definitely not. And hey, he's had to deal with some misfits on that team, or some guys that just with some hot tempers and personalities, and we saw that last year. And I think the way they kind of handled the Blake Bortles situation blew up in their face and all of that as well. I'm not ready to go as far as you are there yet. I certainly don't like the aspect of, man, that conversation must have gone off the rails for Jalen Ramsey to talk about that.
Chris,
yeah.
What's the executive VP of football operations doing having a meeting with the player on game day? That's for the coach to deal with.
Yeah.
If the coach is upset
point,
about the way Jalen Ramsey acted on the sideline, Doug Marrone's the one who needs to handle it, and Tom Coughlin needs to butt out. And that's always been the concern from the moment Coughlin took the job, that he was going to undermine Doug Marrone by acting like the coach. And he's acting like the coach when he decides. I mean, if you're a player, think about it. How many bosses do I have? I have two, my position coach and my head coach, and the coordinators in there as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about these other people swooping in and giving me a hard time. The coach is my ultimate authority. And anyone above that in the organization, I shouldn't have to worry about. I shouldn't have to worry about the GM giving me a hard time. I shouldn't have to worry about the executive VP of football operations giving me a hard time. And I think he crossed the line there by even having the conversation. And he upset Ramsey. He's created a situation where Ramsey wants out. And at the end of the year, if it comes down to Ramsey or Coughlin, the responsible play for the organization is pick Ramsey.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know if we know all the details, but I guess I lean towards what you're saying too. I can't argue a whole lot there. The football operations guy can talk to a player, but you don't need to. It sounds like he really laid down the law. You can say hey, Jalen.
That's what the coach does.
Right. I expect better from you, or you're better than that. I can see a comment like that, but it sounds like it went farther than that. All right. I don't like that you're making me go this whole hot seat, like it's like you're going to get fired or benched or all that, because the Eagles receivers are on the hot seat. They can't catch a cold running bare butt through Alaska. Okay, they're on the hot seat. But I'm going to go with another quarterback. I'm going to go with Marcus Mariota. Okay, I think he's on the hot seat. Ryan Tannehill was phenomenal in the preseason. Marcus Mariota, I know they're 1-2 and they won that first game against the Cleveland Browns. Okay, the defense won that first game. I mean, he threw a 75-yard screen pass. He threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and Derrick Henry ran straight. Okay, there's been struggles there. Whether it's the Week 2 loss against the Indianapolis Colts or last week, like you saw against the Jacksonville Jaguars, there is nothing in the competitive nature of the football game. That's what I look at. His stats are all like we saw last week, fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, the game's kind of over, the competitive nature of the game's over, and there he does it. And he's on the hot seat, a verge of losing his job, I think, for a Tannehill, and maybe not being a starting quarterback until he earns that right again as well.
All right, my last one, because we got to go.
I know we do.
And this one is fairly obvious, and I think that John Elway has benefited from the fact that the ownership situation is unsettled. There are trustees that are running the team. They have yet to appoint Brittany Boland to take over controlling interest in the Broncos organization. But look, Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best 5 to ever play all time. Put a team together that won Super Bowl 50, but 2 straight losing seasons, 0-3 for the first time in years, and no signs of real hope for the Denver Broncos. And at some point, it's just going to be over for John Elway as the GM of that team. And what's saving him now is the fact that there isn't one person who can decide in the moment it's time to turn the page and move on to different leadership with the organization.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.